And we are back. It's episode 97 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're coming down to you. We're breaking down UFC London, Blades versus Aspinall, UFC Fight Night from this past Saturday. And, a lot of, great fights, a lot of high ranking, especially in the light heavyweight division. We had a lot of things cleared up. Can't wait to get into it with my partner Harrison here. If you haven't already, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can actually win a Nate Diaz trading card if you subscribe to our YouTube channel and then just leave a comment on any video with your Twitter or Instagram handle so we can reach you and get you that card. Officially licensed Nate Diaz trading card. Or if there's a fighter you like better, let me know and I can try to see if I have a card of theirs. Or another sport or whatever. We want to, reward the people for engaging with our YouTube channel, and that's the best way I can think of. So giveaways still going on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and comment your social media on any video you like, and it'd be cool if you watch that video while you're at it. Episode 97 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown, going over UFC Fight Night, Blades versus Aspinall. Waiting on my partner Harrison, who's joining me right now, and we're going to get into it. Oh, my man, staying hydrated out here, man. The hydration, man.
3-liter glass.
Jesus. Speaking of beverages, quick shout out to Howlerhead. It really is delicious. If you're, feeling tired of drinking Jack or whatever whiskey you're drinking at your local bar, man, this shit is not expensive. It's absolutely delicious. You can sip it, you can shoot it, you can mix it. It's fucking fantastic. Yeah, shout out Howlerhead. Obviously, just sent me this sick new shirt. And I'm about to pour some up right now while we get it started, man. Breaking down UFC Fight Night London, Blades versus Aspinall. A lot of clarity took place in the light heavyweight division, which is super important with next week's Ankalaev Smith fight taking place. I don't know. I feel like that division's kind of chugging along between this week and next week. So we got some answers. We got some of our favorite stars. We got Meatball Molly. We got Paddy the Baddy. That's what the people came to see and talk about. Obviously, Blades and Aspinall, just top light heavyweights. Like, some could argue this was a number one contenders match. Not really. It was like a number one contenders match to take on like the interim champs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like a.
I think the winner of this was set to get the winner of Tuivasa and Gone. If you're going to ask me, yes, that'll be the interim belt. Right.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think the implications are massive. We obviously have the Meatball and Paddy here again. They said. In their last fight, they're a package deal. If one fights, the other's going to fight, and I kind of love it. They did their interviews together a lot of the times. I don't know if I love that, but the personalities build each other.
I don't love it for like the at the desk interviews.
Correct. That's why I hate it because they talk over each other.
Exactly, and it's like just a nightmare to listen to. But I love it like in the backstage interviews or like the press conferences or like on podcasts or. Like, that's all good and well, but you're right. Like, the at the desk, hey,
this is the journalist's time to interview you. Like, yeah, and Paddy's always eat. Like, the bro cannot eat if he is outside of a fight camp. Like, he has to be eating at all times. It's insane.
And, I love it. Molly's pounding Howlerhead. I love some pounds.
That was tight. That was tight.
But it's also like, can't wait 10 minutes or just take one shot. Like, she's literally just like.
Bro, she got more than halfway through the bottle by the time that it was, the card was over, and she fought third.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And take it from somebody who's done shows too drunk. It does make it not as good to listen to.
You couldn't mean UFC 245, the triple title fight where we did a 3-hour podcast and we're completely smashed. You couldn't re-referencing that podcast.
Man, that was still drinking Buffalo Trace and
Makers 46.
Dude, man, no more Makers 46 for your boy.
Howlerhead only.
Honestly,
this is not paid advertisement at all, but Howlerhead is better than that. I mean, Buffalo Trace can be a different kind, but as much as I think Makers 46 is nice and it's $60 a bottle, you can get 2 bottles of Howlerhead for that same price, and you'll love your day way more drinking Howlerhead. You will love your night so much more.
I don't know if it's just my body. Like, this isn't like obvious. It's kind of some bro science here. Like, Howlerhead doesn't really get me hung over, bro. Like, I
I don't know
know
why that
you
is.
think it would? It's a little bit sweeter, whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, I swear I haven't had a gnarly hangover yet once from Howlerhead. Like, and I'm drinking.
Even when I came out and we did the live shows the first night or the second night, we crushed a whole bottle plus a bunch of seltzers. Didn't feel that bad the next day.
I know. Like I said, bro science, but hey, take it from me. And I get hungover like pretty easily. And I'm not some like hardcore drinker. No, I'm usually kind of a weenie when it comes to hard alcohol. Like Howlerhead just does me right, man. But to this main card, and this is one, I didn't. Oh, you know what? I do have my spoon, my honorary trusty eat shit spoon. I even did it in one of my Howlerhead little promo videos I did on my Instagram. One of my official picks of the week that I kind of put my name on and stuck my chest out on and put multiple bets on.
I'll take all the blame for this. I feel like I was so bullish on Paul Craig. I might have influenced you slightly.
No, bro, no, I was right there with you.
Okay,
no,
okay.
We were Bull City over here. We were just
Bulls on parade, my guy.
We loved us some Paul Craig getting the plus money at plus 130 because we've just seen him beat some tough fighters. Like I think we both really respect Jamal Hill, and I think that win, like in our heads, is like with Jamal Hill got a main event coming up announced. Happy for him.
Jamal Hill got his elbow destroyed by Paul. Most guys when they fight Paul Craig get beat up by Paul Craig.
They leave in an ambulance. Well, no, Paul Craig gets beat up and then puts you in an ambulance like on the way out. But
yes, exactly right. But like Ozdemir, I think it's more so. I'm glass very half empty on Ozdemir, maybe 60% empty.
We're a notorious kind of Ozdemir hating podcast. Like we've been every time Ozdemir fights, I think we pick against him, and he's proven us wrong a couple of times. But
his first fight in the UFC, or I'm sorry, Yuri's first fight in the UFC was Ozdemir, and he starched him in round 2. So that is the champion of the weight class. So maybe I need to take that into account. And I love Yuri so much that I just loved that fight because don't love Ozdemir and got to watch him get literally put to sleep, like out cold. And Ozdemir normally has terrible output. So if he was going to have a low output against a guy like Paul Craig, it was going to be very problematic.
Well, and also, I think we love the matchup, right? Like the grappler versus the striker. We also, like I said, we're not the biggest Ozdemir guys. We like Paul Craig. Now, I also, I'll be real. I didn't earn a respect for Ozdemir's, left and right hand, which obviously he has power, but that's not what I'm getting at here. What I'm saying is I gained a respect for his, fight IQ.
His fight IQ is crazy.
Such a smart fight, right? Like you can tell he watched his film. You can tell he prepared well and had a good game plan. He was very patient. He didn't fall for any of the silliness. He was just steady as she goes, right? Just stuck to his game plan. Kept making Paul Craig, engage with him on the feet. I don't know. I really respected Ozdemir's, just like I said, his ability just to stay calm, his ability to be smart, to not, he didn't beat himself, right? Paul Craig kind of waits for you to beat yourself, make a mistake, and it just never came.
Now that is exactly where I had misread this fight, right? Was that I would have put all the money I owned on Volkan Ozdemir makes a mistake that gets him into a very bad spot. His fight IQ was through the roof in this fight. I mean, through the roof. And
I didn't just bet the Paul Craig money line.
The under made a ton of sense too, but that makes the most sense.
With both of them. So yeah, no, I love Paul Craig and the under. I put. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, do we owe Ozdemir a lot more respect because his only losses coming up now? Granted, he has two loss slide coming into this fight. But his losses are to Ankalaev, Prochazka. Then he beat Rakic and beat Latifi before those. Oh, the win over Rakic is huge. Then he lost a split to Dominic Reyes.
Latifi's a heavyweight. I mean, you could argue. You know what I mean? Good wins.
And lost a split to Reyes right before Reyes went on to fight John Jones.
Yeah,
and then he also
that was prime Reyes. That wasn't bullshit.
No, and right before that, he lost to Anthony Smith by sub, and Anthony Smith also
was much younger back then too.
Yeah, 4 years ago, and then the fight before that lost to Cormier, but then before that had beaten St. Preux, Serkinov, and Manoa. So the dude only fights killers. Only killers.
Honestly, bro, I think I'm done with the Ozdemir slander, and it wasn't really so much slander as just we weren't that high on him, but goddamn, dude. I mean, you got to respect it. You got to respect Ozdemir.
It's tough, right? Because he has a 5-5 record in the UFC coming into this fight, but all of his losses, like I just named, are to killers. His wins over champs, and his wins are over beasts as well. You know what I'm saying?
He lost to 2 champs and 2 title challengers, right?
Reyes, Smith both fought for it. Cormier was the champion when he lost to him. He obviously lost to Prohaska, who is now the champion, and then he lost to Ankalaev, who's the next guy up.
Like a number 1 contender.
Like Ankalaev's going to fight for a title if he wins one more. If he beats Smith, he'll fight for a title. So it's like he will only have lost to people that have challenged for a title or are the title holder.
You can't hate on that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the opposite of hate. You gotta
respect it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. And now, also talking about what we agree with, what we disagree with. I thought round 1 is worth discussing. Now, the judges disagree. All 3 judges scored round 1 to Ozdemir. Now, myself and also I want to point out verdict scored it for Craig. So at first I thought I was just like, oh, was I tripping? Did I have too much howler? But verdict agreed with your boy. Now, it all depends on how you viewed the weird guard pull, heel hook, trip, little weird scenarios that Craig was able to execute in round 1. Because I'll be real, I was kind of proven wrong on the stat sheet, but I was kind of scoring those as takedowns. Like, I know they're not takedowns on paper, but he was getting Ozdemir on the ground, which is where he wanted him and was where Ozdemir didn't want to be.
He had a deep heel hook in round 1.
Yeah.
Deep. Was cranking it. And shout out to Ozdemir for having, I guess, tree trunk legs because he didn't seem to care.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this fight's weird, right? Because it's all about Ozdemir has good output and he hits very hard, and Craig is down to get hit very hard just to try and get in close and get some sort of weird Imanari heel what is it called? Heel reap, where he reaps the heel with his own. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it was. Yeah, it was like a heel hook, but it wasn't really a heel hook. It was like trying to trick.
He was reaping it. He was reaping the legs with his own legs, which is high level. But at the same time, it's hard to say that Craig. Oh man, I was so 50-50 on that round, like as to how to score it, because it was so different, right? Ozdemir wouldn't play the game. Craig would only play one game. So I don't know, man. It was a weird round. I scored it for Ozdemir, but I did have the words close, and I also said that if Craig would have done any damage while he was in those submission positions, I could have given it to him a lot easier.
Yeah, man. I just think overall he was able to get it to his world. Like he was able to like dictate where the fight took place and the positions that they were in. There was the deep, heel hook attempt. There was like a couple of I guess you were calling it a heel reap. It doesn't count as a takedown, but he got Ozdemir on the ground. So I don't know what the fuck you want to call that, but he was able to get Ozdemir on the ground. Now
multiple times. Now to Ozdemir's credit, he would just turn, stand, pull his leg out, and get up and walk away, and he would never entertain it. Now I will also say I had a big problem with Ozdemir and Bosacki, the ref, because Ozdemir would stand right in up kick range, like where he could barely get kicked with the up kick, and he would just step back and dodge it, but he wouldn't step back and stand Craig up. But I feel like he was burning time doing that, and I don't love that.
I think in the second and third round, he got better at doing that. In the first round, you're right. It was a little, dicey 50-50. I thought, actually, on the second, third round, I thought he did exactly that. He did what,
oh, yeah, his fight IQ was crazy good.
No, I'm not going down to your guard. Come on up.
Now, I do have a problem with, he needed to stand him up. He needed to look and be stand up and back up 3 steps. Because otherwise, you're just wasting time. Or the ref should have stepped in and separated them and said, get up.
Yeah, see, I'm about to say, everything you're blaming on Ozdemir, I blame on the ref.
I think it's 50-50 because Ozdemir needed to take 1 step back every time.
And also, though, you mean to tell me if you're fighting Paul Craig, you're not trying to get a couple seconds off that old clock?
Burn the clock in a position standing while Craig's just looking at you. I mean, it looks good eye test.
If you're playing the Chiefs, there's a way,
don't worry about the run game so much. Just cover the deep ball and the Travis Kelce seam, and you're going to have a lot of success.
Yeah, man. So it's I don't know. I thought Volkan Ozdemir fought so smart. Now, honestly, my frustration with Craig comes in rounds 2 and 3. I think Craig loses rounds 2 and 3 more so than Ozdemir wins them.
That is exactly how I see this fight. Is that Ozdemir wasn't winning the rounds? Paul Craig was just losing them by not abandoning a strategy he could not succeed with.
Well, see, I'll even push back. Now I'm going to split some hairs here. but I'm also a guy who gave Paul Craig round one.
Lawyer ball me.
As a guy who gave Paul Craig round one, I gave it to him because he was able to get Ozdemir on the ground with him, even for if it was a short amount of time. He was able to get him in his world. Round two, Craig was like pulling guard on air. Like
on air, literally just rocking back.
Just
and after he would
back.
like get rocked and then fall backwards.
And he had no more heel reaps after round one.
Correct.
Which is the only reason why I gave him round one. So it's like it was all of the bad with none of the good. Like all the reasons I gave Craig one, and I'm like out here on an island being, not out here on an island. So I'll hang my hat on the verdict scorecards, but but seriously, it's like me and some other people on verdict like saw it. Round one for Craig, he was able to get him on the ground, engage in some grappling positions. Attempt to sub. That's Craig's world. That's how the fight looks if it's going Craig's way. Rounds 2 and 3, which I think we can honestly kind of lump them together. Now
they're the same. They're the same.
I thought Volk and Ozdemir. I thought round 3 was like less close, and Ozdemir got more damage off. But yeah, after round 1, it was literally just like Ryan Hall level, like gimmick.
Yeah, that's exactly what it reminds me of. That's a great comparison. It's that, bro, you're not doing anything else, and your offensive grappling is so lacking. His offensive grappling sucks ass, man. Like, it's terrible. It's what you referenced it in the prelims, and I made the joke about we'll get to Paul Craig. Well, here's where we are. We're at Paul Craig, and this one needs to learn how to wrestle, clinch, and get against the fence so the guy can't just turn around and run.
Like,
why do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys not get that?
Top.
That's what
it would be so terrifying.
I don't get it. I don't get why these BJJ guys won't go for offensive style grappling.
Like, it doesn't even have to be a double or a single. A hip toss, a judo throw, a trip.
A deep single leg that he just transitions to off the fence because he runs the single to the fence and then he can't run away.
Or how about instead of just pulling guard on air, you try a couple flying triangles. Like, at least you're engaging, like a flying armbar, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're pulling guard still, but you're like, it's offensive still. You know what I'm saying? Like
this was a fight IQ fight. This was Paul Craig not having fight IQ and Volkan Ozdemir having a game plan that he never abandoned.
I also think Paul Craig sells his striking short because there was a very few moments in this fight where Paul Craig was throwing and landing like kind of hard. Now,
and he strikes hard,
long, but he does get hit in those engagements. But he gets hit when he's on his back, so it's like.
Right. If you're going to get hit either way, why not throw some offense in the middle? He threw nothing offensive past round 1, and that was my biggest takeaway from this fight is Paul Craig has to stop submission hunting from his back. He's got to learn how to submission hunt from the top.
Even Damian Maia figured that out, right?
Oh, perfect example. Perfect example.
Like Chase Hooper figured it out. Like all these like submissions. No, Ryan Hall never figured it out. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't.
Bryce Mitchell figured it out, and now he implements it beautifully.
You would think he was a wrestler.
Right. That's what I mean.
No, bro, you're right. Those are all fire examples. I think Craig sells himself short. He's a big, huge light heavyweight.
Huge.
Like, the reach is there. He's a scary motherfucker. If he just puts on some pressure, like, even if he does, like, Cormier punches that aren't intended to land but distract you while you get in close and, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just anything else besides pulling guard on air.
And he's a good sell in a press conference as far as building his fights because he talks mad shit. He has a crazy intense, like, pre-fight, like, he'll literally try to fight the guy when he runs in the octagon every time. It's crazy aggression.
Hey, Twitter was roasting him though because they were like, all that just to pull guard for fun.
Right.
Like, Twitter was
but they're not
wrong. They're not wrong.
That's dude.
Also, I don't know if you know this, bro. Me and was it Kakramanov? I think it's Kakramanov. We've been like talking on Twitter in our Beefy Boys account like every week, every card.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Yeah, no,
I need to go check that out. I never go to tweets and replies. I always just go to your tweets.
Because he has like 800 followers or something. He has like less followers than I have on my Dreadful Talking account. And so it's like when you respond, he's gonna see it. And he's a sports bettor too. And so anytime if you respond to him talking about like because he'll
loving the odds here and there.
Yeah, and we've had a couple back and forth like 2 weeks in a row. It's pretty dope. But
shout out to Kakramanov.
Oh, also I got who did I say last week? Oh, Justin Jacoby.
Yeah,
back and forth too.
I saw that one. I did see that one. I think you sent me
about
that.
Like Sue Whoop or something. I was like, that's wild. And he liked was like, well, Justin Jacoby, what? Like,
he's got a crazy cool story. Shab on his show after last week's card went into Jacoby's story, and it's pretty awesome. I like Jacoby a lot more after the interactions you showed me with our account and him. His story leading up to being cut from the UFC, going to kickboxing, and now coming back to the UFC and being so much improved. Like, that's a guy that has learned how to fight in the UFC, I should say.
No doubt, man. So, getting around, just bringing it full circle, Craig Ozdemir here. All three judges scored 30-27 Ozdemir. You scored 30-27 Ozdemir. Like, I'm definitely not rolling out a hill. Like I said, I'll kind of point out that verdict agreed with me. But, hey, what can you do? Like I said, I mean, this was a fight, like, this was literally so bad that, like, even as a guy who, like, bet Paul Craig, I was just, like, I wasn't even sweating. I was just like, oh, yeah, like, this is just, I made the wrong choice here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a sweat. It was, like, a realization.
It was just like, oh, God, he's just going to hunt from his back the whole fight, and Vulcan's not going to engage. Just there's 0% chance he gets a sub.
Yeah, like, I wasn't even mad. I wasn't emotional. I was just like, well, yeah, that, saw that one wrong.
It's honestly like when you think a football game is 50-50 and then one team just comes out and wins like 35-6, and it's like Bama Arkansas last year. It was like Arkansas had, I think, like a 7-point spread against them and lost by like 30, and it was like, well, yeah, maybe the hype on Arkansas was too much, and Bama is just who Bama is, and we all didn't give them enough credit.
Yeah, honestly, that was a shit line on that, but yeah, no, great analogy though. I totally see like where you're coming from at that point, but. Hey, man, you know what I had, a couple nights ago for dinner? I had some spaghetti and meatballs. You know what I'm saying? We got meatballs.
This was the fight that kicked off the card to me. You know what I mean? That first fight, not so much fun. This fight, the whole crowd was loving it. I loved it.
You know what? And this is another one where I kind of had to come full circle on. Now, Molly McCann, Meatball Molly, as she so loves.
-450.
-450. And so my knee-jerk reaction was like, that's too rich. Like Meatball
Molly. Like I said, open -200.
See, I wasn't armed with that information. That makes a lot more sense to me. Especially like Hannah Goldie, not a can. Like,
Goldschmidt. I'm not calling her Goldie anymore. That's not her last name. She wears Goldschmidt on her shorts so she can get fucked.
I honestly never knew that.
That's her real name, Hannah Goldschmidt.
Because I didn't care enough to know. You know what I'm saying? But I never knew that. Like,
hey, if we get to wear nicknames on shorts, sign Paul Craig up as the Bear Jew and put that shit on his shorts.
It's so weird how they cherry picked that. Because like I think on next week's card on the prelims we got Blood Diamond. Like, what is that shit?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
God off 5000 shit. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
I completely disagree with giving the nickname as their name. I completely disagree with it.
Or also the Chaos Williams shit. Like they pick and choose
who gets to really have their name. Yeah.
Like let's just go. Let Charlie Olives throw Doe Bronx on his shorts.
Bro. Yeah. What the fuck? Or just don't put Oliveira. Put Charlie Olives as his name when you introduce him. That'd be fucking sick.
Fucking combination pizza over here, but no, man. I feel you. I never knew that about Hannah Goldschmidt. But hey, great information to bring to the pod. But
this fight was damn good.
And but no, this fight. You know what? All right. So I still got to get back to how I interpreted this money line real quick before we dive into X's and O's. Yeah. It's not so much that I thought, and this is what is really dangerous as a bettor, and I'm glad I didn't It's not so much that I thought Goldie would win. I just thought that Molly McCann was at -450, which pretty much means don't bet the fight, right?
Right. Don't lose. Yeah. But don't lose your money on someone that's overly favored.
Exactly. But also, upon doing a little bit of research, I actually started to see where people were coming from. And
she should be favored in this fight for sure.
I'll be real. Meatball Molly and Paddy are so joined at the hip that you forget that Meatball Molly's more credentialed than Paddy in the UFC. She's had more fights. She's had more impressive wins.
One of 5 spinning back elbow knockouts ever.
And you could,
and I think the only one in the women's division ever. And you could argue this might be number 2.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. When do you count it? But no. So, but what I'm saying is, no, Meatball Molly being attached to Paddy. That's obviously great for her wallet. That's great for her brand.
Drake's buying Rolexes.
but I think was at least I won't put it on everybody. For me, I kind of lumped her in with that kind of overhype, kind of
the Paddy hype. She does get the Paddy hype for sure.
More meat than potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Like
more meatball than potatoes. Yeah.
But when you look at the Tapology,
she represents it well.
Her resume is legit, bro. Like, there's nothing to hate on me. Like, if you call Meatball Molly overhyped, like, it's kind of a casual take, which was kind of my casual take going into this one. Like, I thought I was kind of lumping her in with Paddy whenever she did some heavy lifting.
Well, yeah, I mean, lost her debut to Jillian Robertson, which no shame on that in 2018.
That's heavy lifting in 2018.
Absolutely. And then has a loss in 2020 to Tyla Santos, who I think is the only girl that can fight with Shevchenko right now.
I thought she beat Shevchenko on my scorecard.
I know. And she fought Santos to a decision. Did not get finished by her.
That's what I'm saying.
Has only been finished once in the UFC, and it was by Robertson by sub in her debut. Has a loss to Vanessa Mello early in her career, and then has the bad loss she has is Laura Procopio. But outside of that, she loses to killers only and beats girls that she should beat or maybe should not beat, if you want to look at it that way as well. Because, like, you could say the fight against Luana Carolina or Ariane Lipsky in 2019, those should be tough fights for her.
Lipsky had hype in 2019. That's kind of aged kind of badly, but like in 2019, I remember, like, Lipsky was not like a can.
Well, and Jin Young Kim is more of a wrestling style fighter, so for her to get the decision victory shows that she's pretty good at managing her distance, even though she has incredibly short range reach and really isn't a wrestler. So it's like not a good combination for her to be a striker and have such short arms, but she knows how to fight her style.
And man, I've said this once before already on this episode, but I'll say it again. Like, Meatball Molly's good at MMA. Like,
yes.
She wouldn't be a good boxer. I don't want to see her in a
Wouldn't be a good wrestler.
I don't want to see her in a singlet. In some fucking fingerless gloves and some
she can throw.
Shorts. She can get down. And
she's really good at getting up off her back if she gets taken down, which is greatly to her credit.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of beating around the bush a little bit because this fight, ends in the first round. 3 minutes and 52 seconds. And like I said, I mean, you can argue this is her toughest fight or her toughest test. Like, I think Hannah Goldie beats Jillian Robertson. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
aside from Santos, this is her toughest test by far.
Yeah, which Santos? I'm high on Santos.
Yeah, you're talking about number one behind the champion in this division right now.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. So we got to get to it, man, because Meatball Molly was really never in danger. Like, she was taking it to Goldie from the fucking opening bell, and then. We already alluded to it. We might as well go ahead.
But before we get into it, there's a very funny sequence that occurs that she talks about after, which is that she's up against the fence, right? And she's in that awkward position where right as soon as she breaks out of it, she lands that massive right, gets another right, gets around the fence, spinning back elbow, gets the finish there, right? What happened right before that, she talked about it in the post-fight interview, was she's up against the fence and she hears a girl behind her go, "Molly, you smell great." And she said it like woke her brain up and was like, "What the fuck? Like, what?" And then I don't know what that significance is, but she stands up and finishes the girl within 15 seconds. I don't know. I thought that's super weird.
How about if you're fighting Molly McCann, don't circle to your right? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's she throws big rights and then spins with the elbow backwards after you try to come back the other way. She's catching you with
if you circle to your left, you're good. I mean, you're going to her right hand, but I'll take that over spinning elbow. Like.
Yeah, exactly right. And she always throws the right hand spinning elbow combo too. She loves that combo. She's done it in 2 fights and gotten 2 wins with it.
Yeah, no, it's nasty. And it's not fluky either. It's like it's set up. It's like
it was a great finish, and then I loved her celebration, and what she said on the mic was better than her performance, in my opinion.
Well, so this fight is 3 minutes and 52 seconds into the first round. The spinning elbow sets it all. Like I said, you can argue it's like, her second spinning elbow knockout. Because, after the spinning elbow lands, it's all Meatball. There's some finishing blows, but...
Yeah, I think 3 big rights, and then both, who is it? Herb Dean steps in and stops it. But, yeah, Goldie got dropped hard with that elbow. Like, they were just complimentary finishing shots.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. But continue what you're saying, because I'll be real. Like, I remember Meatball Molly, she jumped out and she ran around the crowd and
jumped into Dave Portnoy's arms. She jumps into Portnoy's arms, which was cool because I love Portnoy and Barstool, and he does have them on. They have like a fight agency or whatever, like they sign athletes, and they signed Paddy to a 7-figure deal. They signed Molly to like a $250,000 deal. So they believe in her. He showed up to the fight. He's going to walk out Paddy later for his fight. In the post-fight presser, he was there. They were shouting him out. It's just it's cool. Like the way
it's like Sugar and the Nelk Boys, but they got
exactly right.
Still Presidente, you know what I mean?
Exactly right. Like I love how they're able to mesh like the hype of the real world athletics and sports and people and personalities with their own ability to fight. Like they get bigger than the brand by doing things like that.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I mean, Barstool's platform's huge. What better way to align yourself to both kind of new wave, new school,
and get American fans as a British person? Yeah, I mean, because Barstool operates obviously primarily American fans and has like a crazy following of 18 to 36-year-old males, which is the perfect guys to watch fights.
And they're based on the East Coast, which is closer to London as opposed to LA, like everything else is. So, I feel you, man. I love that kind of collab mashup there. Yeah, Meatball, I mean, so marketable, her, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, all right, how many guys have we met? Like, they cut a good promo, they have a funny colored hair, they have a decent following on social media. Fights are snoozers.
Yeah.
But Meatball Molly, I mean, she goes in there and fights like if not more entertaining than she like promotes and you know what I mean, interviews, and I mean her fight style is so
it's electric. Yeah, and then on the mic she's extremely good as well. After a fight, she stops and she tells the fans, "Thank you. You know, there's no one else. There's no other woman in England that gets this support that you all give me." And I realize that, and I appreciate it. And then I love what she said even more next, which was, you deserve good performances because you back us so much. And she was like, all these other people that didn't want to go for it, I'll never be that girl. I'll go for it every time for you guys because you go for me. And I was like, she called out every prelim fighter. Jesus Christ.
Every prelim fighter. No, so I think some people caught some unnecessary shrapnel there. I think like Ludovic
Pierce,
Pierce, Nathaniel Wood, you know what I'm saying?
They were going for it. They dominated.
For it, you know what I mean? I think they caught a little unnecessary shrapnel there, but also great promo by Meatball. Both can be true. And Hannah Goldie, bro, she reminds me. She's kind of going down the Van Zant, the OnlyFans Zant route, like
OnlyFans Zant. That's tremendous.
You know what I mean? She posts like slutty Instagram pics and tries to get some clout and some likes, and it's just like, I'm not saying like Misha Tate's the perfect example of making your looks mesh with your fighting, and it always
or Mackenzie Dern.
Mackenzie, I don't know about
top five fighter in her weight, and is incredibly hot.
I don't know. Dern maybe just not my style, but hey, what can you do? But I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad for a female. Like for the famous Black Panther march, like you got to use what you got to get what you want. Like, but it's I don't hate on good looking fighters that like use it to promote themselves, but it is a slippery slope whenever these girls they start making money on OnlyFans or like Jojo kind of fell into that trap, and I mean there's a long list of like decent looking fighters that you got to be a killer first.
Well, I love the opposite approach, right? Like Yoni on Jacek. She is gorgeous, but she only cares about fighting.
Or exactly, or even like Shevchenko. Like she'll post pictures in dresses and heels and bikinis.
Very gorgeous, very gorgeous. But only cares about being the best.
On fight night, there's no makeup, there's no fake lashes. She's a fucking killer on fight night, and then 2 months later when she's in Bali, she'll give you some bikini pics. But it's just.
Oh God, who was the girl? Who was the girl we roasted for wearing fake eyelashes and just getting her ass beat?
She went on to bare knuckle box. It's the fucking sluttiest fighter ever. Fucking outside of Laredo.
You can't remember her name. Not important because not a great fighter. I went so hard in that breakdown.
She fought Van Zant in bare knuckle boxing. Like
Well, here, I'll just bring up Van Zant's fights right now.
Yeah, do it. It was her last fight, or two.
Oh God. Let's see. Man, I don't want UFC record. What the hell? Her Paige VanZant's nickname is 12 gauge.
Only.
Rachel Ostovich.
Rachel Ostovich. Exactly. Like I worry that Hannah Goldie is going to go the way of the Van Zant, the Ostovich, the Jojua, the hell, even the fucking Queen, the Lipskis of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a fine line. Like, you got to be a killer first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it's something that men don't necessarily have to deal with as much. And it's a weird double standard, but it's not a double standard as much as like the opportunity is different, like business wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, these girls start getting modeling gigs and OnlyFans and you know what I'm saying? Just
hell, for as good looking, I mean, think about Ronaldo. For as good looking as that guy is, he's the best player in the world and doesn't give a shit about how good he looks.
He's a soccer player first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's a million examples. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, you know, I mean, Stipe is a good-looking guy. I mean, there's a lot of good-looking. I mean, there's so many. Like, I mean, we're talking about the top 1% of physical specimens here. Of course, they're going to be attractive, male, female, whatever. They're all in great shape, you know. But what I'm saying is, and maybe I'm spending too much time on this, but like for example, Goldie just got her ass fucking whooped today on Instagram. She's posting slutty pics, and it's just like.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough look. Because what do you care about, you know? And I know money at the end of the day is bottom line, but guess what? Mom McCann's made $100,000 in the last 4 months from getting bonuses. So you're going to tell me that
the Barstool deal, the Rolly from Drake,
the actual win bonus and show bonus, at the Rolly from Drake, this girl's going to make 200 something grand this year in performing as a fighter.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
and her brand is still being built.
And exactly, and it's not like you're old when you retire from fighting. All that's still waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? Tell me Valentina Shevchenko retires in 2 years, and if she wants to be in a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, or Victoria's Secret, whatever she wants to do, the options are going to be there because she's validated on a legitimate, you can't question it scale. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Her skill set comes before her appearance, even though her appearance is still so high, but. Let's keep it pushing because
let's keep it pushing.
This next fight.
Take a quick piss real quick, but go ahead and introduce it.
I'll introduce it, and it makes me so sad. You got Nikita Krylov, number 11 fighter, minus 205, fighting the legend, the Hall of Famer, the Mauler nickname, Alexander Gustafsson, however you want to say it, plus 175. I mean, has literally the greatest 205 fight of all time against John Jones. Or if you want to go the other way and say Cormier, well, he has the second or third best fight ever with Cormier. And then obviously Cormier and Jones have one of the best fights ever. But those 3 fights are the top 3 fights in light heavyweight, in my opinion, all time. Now, obviously, Yuri Prochazka and Glover are going to push back on that now after that fight occurred. But up to that point, best 3 fights at 205 we've seen in a long, long time. All that being said, this was a fight where I thought the value on Gustafsson was really nice at plus 175. However, this fight only lasts 1 minute and 7 seconds. And, as you can most likely tell from my tone and approach, does not go well for my guy Alexander Gustafsson. Now, I will also take note that I had some buddies over.
That's just me throwing you under the bus real quick.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no, I mean, you just heard me hyping Gustafsson, talking about how this guy's got a crazy chin, his skill set's so amazing. Yeah, I mean, I need a shovel for the amount of shit I got to eat. We're talking we're talking shovelfuls.
But your argument wasn't based off nothing. You know what I'm saying?
And I haven't been that high on Krylov coming into this.
See, and that's where we differed, because, I actually kind of like Krylov. Krylov, I remember Krylov's last fight, I was, nut riding him on the breakdown. Krylov's looked good, way more than Gustafsson's looked good.
Krylov also an extremely interesting guy right now for the current political climate because he took off his fighting out of Ukraine and removed his Ukrainian flag, and he's from the Luhansk Donetsk region, and he sides with Russia in the entire affair, which we've talked about this before. Not for us to really talk about, decide, or say. He is one of those people that however they feel is however they feel. And and they know more about it than we do. However,
yeah, that's a good point. Also, it'd be like I'm trying to put yourself in their shoes. Like it'd be like in Oklahoma and California, where I was born in California. I kind of identify with, Oklahoma a little bit more. I'll have family in California. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like
it's tough.
It's tough. You got to put yourself in their shoes.
And so, almost just removing yourself from the situation might be the better move there. Now, all that said, minute 7 in fight length here, right? And it is all Krylov. I mean, he rocks Gustafsson within the first 20 seconds and is just pouring it on.
Wait up, you said 7 minutes, bro.
No, minute and 7.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to make
minute
that clear
and 7
to the
seconds.
Viewers. Yeah. 1 minute. In
1 minute, 7 seconds. Yeah. So, and honestly, maybe could have been stopped short of a minute because Gustafsson just gets worked. And
he got dropped twice in 1 minute.
Well, you know what it is, man. It's Mark Goddard as the ref. He's just being respectful to the Hall of Famer, which he is a Hall of Famer already. And I hate that. We've talked about that too. Yeah.
Is Duho Choi a Hall of Famer?
No, but Gustafsson has he has 2 of the best fights ever at light heavyweight against the 2 best light heavyweights ever.
Did he win them?
And the crowd goes mild. No, man, he didn't. His record's 18-8, and I don't know if that's a Hall of Fame record, but it's like, is RDA a Hall of Famer?
But RDA held the belt.
Yeah, fair, but also in a time.
Also, conversation ender. Like that.
I don't know. I think Gustafsson's a Hall of Famer. If he's not, at least he has 2 fights that are. His last 4 losses are Jones, Anthony Smith, Fabricio Verdum when he went to heavyweight, and now Krylov. I want to see him retire.
That Verdum loss was ass. Verdum was old and washed already.
Yeah, that's when I knew it was tough. And I should have taken more of that into account. He does have wins over Blachowicz, Teixeira, Manawa, Shogun, Thiago Silva, Machishenko, Matt Hamill.
Did you hear about what Manawa did to Rakic, by the way? Sorry, we mentioned his name like twice, and I couldn't let it slip. Did you hear about what happened?
No.
Bro, Rakic is like 9 weeks out from knee surgery. Like, I think he's still on crutches or walking with a limp. Like, he's not anywhere close to like 50%. And apparently Manawa like sucker punched him or swung on him, and like it was real number 1 bullshit guy type of behavior. Like, it was,
wow.
And, I'm like the biggest Rakic hater there is. I can't stand Rakic. I think he's overrated. But bro, that was number 1 bullshit. Fuck Jimmy Manawa.
Wow, I did not hear about that happening. That is pretty fucked up when a guy is literally probably still in like a huge Don Joy brace.
Yeah, no, and like Rakic even kind of clowned. He was like, he fucking like hit his forearm on my neck. Thank God he fucking sucks, or else I'd been in some real trouble. But like, yeah, he ran up on him at like a casino or something. Like, it was like real like whack.
And I can just imagine Rakic like reading a punch, like fuck, like dips behind him, he just gets an elbow to the head. He's like, hey man, what the fuck? I can't even move.
Yeah, and he said that like hotel / like casino security was like all over Manawa, like that, like before he could even like react. So. Like, yeah, I mean, it was...
Yeah, fuck Jimmy Manuel. He's out of the UFC and he'll never be back. Washed old bastard.
Enjoy some fucking BKFC or whatever the fuck you got going on.
Like, what a washed bitch.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm like a Rakic hater, and I fucking, like, I'm coming to Rakic's defense here. But sorry, off the rails here.
I think big takeaway here is Krylov put himself in a position to get a really good next fight. And I think Gustafsson needs to retire.
Who was Krylov's last win before?
So his last win was, he has obviously the loss to Paul Craig by sub. He lost to Ankalaev. I mean, we're talking, that's no shame on that. Beat Johnny Walker. Don't love that win 2 years ago. And lost in a split decision to Teixeira before that.
Man, so Krylov looked fucking good. Well, I guess it comes back to the, the old question of, did Krylov look good, or did Gustafsson look terrible, or some combination thereof? Now, DC, because obviously has his famous fight with Gustafsson, came out like immediately after the fight, like came in hot and was like, "You need to retire." Like, it was honestly, it wasn't the most respectful like wording either. It was like, "Nah, man, like you're fucking done." Like, I forget the exact verbiage. I mean, he wasn't wrong.
I think he is. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
He's chinny. You know what I mean? He's chinny.
Yeah, he's been in too many wars, man. That's what I was referencing with the fight record too. Is like he's only fought killers for his last 10 fights, and he hasn't really been beating those killers. And instead, he's been taking the most damage.
It's like, bro, like in 5 years, Shane Burgos is gonna look like dog shit. You know, it is what it is. Like it is what it is. Like here today, he can stand and go with some of the best in the world, but like I think, like you know what I'm saying. Like in 3, 4, 5 years, like Burgos is gonna be chinny. Like it is what it is. Like I don't know, man. Are we trying to see Gustafsson be the 205 Darren Elkins? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is that what we want to see? Like, no, it's not. Like, you know what I mean?
No, it's not, man. And like, I don't necessarily want to spend too much time on it just because, like I said, Krylov 2-3 in his last 5, wins over Johnny Walker and Gustafsson, but losses to Paul Craig, Ankalaev, Teixeira. I don't hate to see him get the rematch with Paul Craig, although I think it's too soon. So what I'm actually looking at.
Well, sorry, just to cut you off real quick. Krylov called. Wait,
Volkan Ozdemir
lost to Ozdemir like back in
which
the
I
day,
much
right?
rather would see. I much rather would see that.
Yeah,
I think it's a fun fight too.
11 versus 9, winner is like a top 10 guy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would imagine too that Ozdemir is going to jump up to 7 or 8. Paul Craig is going to fall right behind Krylov, and it's going to make sense because Krylov will then be at 10 or 9, so it's going to be like a 7-9 or an 8-10 matchup. I think that makes all the sense on earth.
And kind of similar styles, right? They're both going to stand up.
Yeah,
It's
going to be a fun fight.
Yeah. Who do you like in that? And what do you think the money line is?
Based on what we've seen, I think Ozdemir. I think his fight IQ is really there, and I think when we talked about he's only lost to guys that fight for the belt or are the belt holders, I got to start putting respect on Ozdemir's name. But I think it's a close line.
You give me plus money on Krylov, and I'm hammering. God, but hear me out.
Do you feel like it's probably like a -110 each way?
I don't know. It maybe gets.
Ozdemir probably gets favored. Ozdemir probably gets like a -150, almost the same odds as him and Craig, actually.
But what I'm saying is, tell me Krylov didn't look faster than Ozdemir, like sharper.
Yeah, true. And Ozdemir didn't fight a guy that was going to strike with him, and he was still getting struck.
Yeah, like if some of those shots that Craig landed are landed by Krylov, you know what I mean? Like Ozdemir, that's another reason why I don't love his style or like love watching him. He's very slow. Which at 205,
he's super slow. He's super slow, but he's so powerful.
But I'm saying, I like Krylov's not slow.
Because Volkan Ozdemir has dynamite in these hands. I have no time. Which, he's not No Time Ozdemir anymore. He's not. He's switched that nickname back the fuck up. Because he's not No Time any longer.
But I'm saying, though, hey, if I can get like plus 180 on Krylov when they
I'll hammer that. I'll hammer that with you just for value.
Yeah, for sure, brother. But hey, man,
let's push to the real main event next.
Oh, Paddy the Baddy. Oh, Paddy the Baddy. Fucking most epic walkout. That's like quickly become like my. And it's not original. It doesn't have to be. It just works. Like it just works. Just works. His following in the UK bigger than any UK fighter I've maybe ever seen aside from Bisping. I think him and Bisping are on close levels, but I would honestly argue that his at this level at this point of his career,
exactly,
he got the belt, of course.
Exactly. Paddy's following is a more natural and organic following, and he's so much better outside of fighting, like than Bisping ever was. Like as good as Bisping was in the octagon and the amount of killers he fought, he did not have a hype train like Paddy, nor could he speak on the mic like Paddy. And I'm not saying Bisping was bad on the mic, but Paddy is like Connor. He really is.
I might say it's better than Connor. Not better, but what I'm seeing is like the fact that he's from England, not Ireland. Like there's something that resonates more. Like I don't know. Like it's not me. Like I don't care. But
well, hell, and the massive Barstool following. Like Dave Portnoy's walking out behind him. I mean, this dude knows how the fuck to sell himself.
Also, can we agree that Jordan Levitt's not a can, and this was actually like a pretty dope matchup? Like this matchup made me think when it was announced. Like it really
I thought the odds were very fair. Now, what I will say too.
We spent a week kind of arguing like how much we liked Paddy in this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, I think we were on the insider track, right? It's like everyone wants to talk about Paddy's hands. It's his jiu-jitsu. It's not his hands. It's his chin and his jiu-jitsu.
Well, let's see. I'm glass half empty on the chin, and here's what I mean by that. It's like his chin is what we're really saying is his poor striking defense. Like those things can coincide, and often they do. But like the fact that Paddy's there to be hit, I still and I will until he has a gold belt wrapped around his waist and I have to pull out a ladle full of shit to eat. It's gonna bite him. It's gonna bite him.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And now what I will say is his last 6 wins are all finishes. So you know what I'm saying?
We got to start pounding the under on Paddy fights.
He has 3 decision wins in his entire career out of 19.
Actually, this would have been over though. Over 2.5. Yeah.
1.5, right?
Oh, you're right. Over.
But I mean, sometimes they only give you 1.5, but barely 1.5 too.
Yeah, that's what makes it dicey. All right, so we got Paddy Pimblett minus 250 fighting Jordan the Monkey King Levitt, who's 10-1 by the way, plus 210, and it obviously taking place in the lightweight division. But Levitt, submission specialist, has a slam KO. So I thought it was a dope matchup for Paddy because
it's not going to be a striker that's going to touch his chin a whole lot, but it's going to test a skill set that he hasn't displayed in the UFC to this point.
Yes, and he's displayed it outside of the UFC, but I wanted to see him out-grapple a high-level UFC grappler as a guy who touts himself as a grappler. You know
and Levitt's extremely unorthodox. Like, no one fights like Jordan Levitt.
And also, man, granted, you don't need any help promoting a Paddy the Baddy fight. Like, it's going to take care of itself, right? But I did think the UFC, like, undersold, like, the matchup. Like, I thought there was some marketing to be done as, like, Paddy the Baddy's biggest test yet. Can he out-grapple a high-level grappler? Like, I don't know, like, put that in the fucking, little commercial thing. Like, I don't know. I thought that was just, like, it was too much like Paddy the Baddy dick riding, which, if you look at the history of promotion, it's not a dominant fighter that sells. It's a threat to a dominant fighter that sells. You know what I'm saying?
That's very fair. Well, I mean, to Paddy's defense here, closing odds minus 250, opened at minus 160. That's very respectful to Jordan Levitt, I'm saying.
You're right.
Because think about it, that's plus 135. That's plus 135 for Levitt.
That's about how I felt. Like, I was never, ever going to bet Levitt. But I was pretty hesitant on betting Paddy because...
Respect to the skill set of Levitt. Because he could push this to where he wasn't going to get subbed and just go all the way to a decision.
Yeah, no. And I thought there was a scenario where he ends up on top of Paddy and Paddy's trying to play jiu-jitsu and Levitt's winning rounds. Like I thought that was, like, on the table. Maybe it was. But, like, all right. So, and actually, let's get to how you score round. Do you have the scorecards for this pulled up? Because I have a question.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So I know how I scored round one, and I'm going to go first because I have a feeling I'm going to disagree with you and the judges. I scored round one for Levitt.
Really? Now, you're not crazy because verdicts and Twitter, I think, probably agree with you here.
I mean, he had 3 takedowns. He had some clinch control. I don't think he ate anything crazy. And I don't know what Paddy did in round. Like, what? You sound like you gave it to Paddy. Like, why? Like, what did Paddy do in round one?
He landed a couple good strikes, was able to get up, obviously. If there's multiple takedowns, he's getting back up pretty quick. He did have a rather deep guillotine on Levitt, and then got his grip broken.
That's right.
I thought the impactful moments for Paddy, I also thought that Levitt didn't throw any damage from the top. Like, literally did no damage at all. So if I'm going to score just control and takedowns versus someone doing damage in a submission attempt, I don't know. I thought Paddy had the more impactful moments.
Thank you, bro. Like, legit, that's one of the things I love about this podcast is because you think you, like, feel strongly about how a round went. And then, like I said, obviously I respect your opinion, and I think the judges agree with you. A lot of people agree with you.
Yeah, but I mean, the judges are getting cooked, right? Like, it's literally 3 English judges on this, or 3 European judges.
Yeah. So it's like I said, I felt pretty strongly about my Jordan Levitt pick. Like,
extremely close round. Extremely close round.
I don't have the word close, but you know what? So I'm kind of contradicting myself. I don't have the word close in my notes, but I also have my notes like Paddy had 3 pretty decent gilly attempts, and he ended the round on top with some decent ground and pound. He definitely did more damage, and for that reason is why I'm not rolling out any hills. I'm not even really, that bullish. I think the 3 takedowns, it's not nothing,
No, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I didn't write close either, but it was more of a retrospective, like, Well, it wasn't necessarily a landslide for either guy, so I can't say that Paddy outright won it. But I literally had to go to like who had the more impactful instances and who did more damage. That's kind of how I had to look at it.
Hey, I think you might have sold me, bro. I think you might have brought me over. I think the Hyundai accent with Sean Strickland.
If Levitt had thrown 10 punches from the top on any,
he wins
the round. Yeah,
like
and that's but that's the problem with Levitt too, right? Is like as skilled as he is not a damage-based fighter, and the slam KO will get people confused. But that was pretty lucky.
You know what? He's not. He's not a dog.
He's not a dog.
Paddy is a dog.
Well, Paddy's not a dog either. He's a scouser, but essentially the same thing.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, Paddy way more of a dog than Jordan Levitt. No, it was slick, bro. And I know it's happened before, and feel free to comment that I'm a casual because I can't remember the last time it happened. But like, bro, the rear naked choke with the arm caught in the
with the arm caught, I haven't seen it in so long, and it's so high level and so hard to hold. Like your ankle flexibility has to be wild.
That wasn't fluky.
No, it made it
high level. Like, bro, like how many dope grapplers do we watch? How many body triangles do we watch? How many times does somebody take somebody's back? How many rear naked chokes do we watch? And nobody gets that arm in the body triangle. Like that shit was fucking sick. And that's how, like, I'm sorry, it's going to sound kind of cringy, whatever. I know I'm not a casual because, like, I appreciated that as much as I appreciated, like, a stiff right hand. Like, when I saw him trap that arm and I saw that Jordan Levitt literally
pressed.
He couldn't fight the hands. Bro, I was fucking got a little – bro, I'll be real. I've never respected Paddy more. Like, it wasn't even the sub. It was whenever he got the arm in the body triangle. I was going like this. I was like, bro, Paddy. Like, I was
let's not skip past the standing darce to knee to the head that he lands to drop Levitt.
You're right.
He had a standing darce and he said
a takedown.
And he said he could hear him went like huffing for breath in the standing darce too. So I was like, that was tighter than I thought. And that's why Levitt pulls his hands up.
Paddy sell job, but hey, whatever.
That is why Levitt pulls his hands up to try and break the lock, and then eats a knee on his temple. And Paddy said his knee was sore, so he's like, I landed that knee super hard, and Levitt dropped instantly.
Yes.
So is that a knockdown? Because I don't think they credited him with one, but I did.
Yeah, what was it? A takedown? Like,
it's not a takedown to me. Yeah, it's way more of a knockdown.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see if they did credit him with a knockdown.
I hate UFC stats. Like,
see, they didn't give him the knockdown; they gave him a takedown, and I would disagree that he didn't do any work to take him down.
How was that a take? Yeah, where was the single leg? Where was the double leg?
They do credit Paddy with 4 submission attempts in this fight as well. That's a lot of submission attempts in 7.5 minutes.
No, in my notes I said that he had 3 in the first.
And obviously the rear naked in the fight in the second.
Yeah.
Dude, what's even better is when you trap the arm, it becomes an undefendable position. Like as high level as Levitt is, you can't stop a rear naked with one arm. You just simply cannot.
It's like a crucifix for grappling.
Yeah, it literally is. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, it doesn't matter because he's going to get this choke on either side because Levitt can't fight the hands.
And like for people to say grappling is like boring, like I don't know. I don't know how I would have felt about that 5 years ago, but like, bro, I got hyped. Like just as hyped as like a crispy elbow or like, bro, like when he trapped that arm in the body triangle, I was like literally like kind of losing my shit. Like, you know, like you don't see that. Like we watch cards. I mean, how many fights did we watch? Hundreds and thousands. I mean, probably thousands of fights, and like you don't see it. You do. Like I don't see it. I don't see it in Eagle. I don't see it in Bellator. Like you don't.
I also think that one of the biggest takeaways for me is Paddy outside the octagon is a very good human. After his post-fight interview in the hallway immediately after with BT Sport, and then his post-fight press conference. Shout out to this kid, Baby Lee. Had I guess 12 times they told him he won't make it through the weekend. Lived through all those except the last one. 4 years old, dies of cancer. Of course, very sad. And then he tells the story of, at 4 a.m. I woke up, day of weigh-ins, to news that one of his good friends had taken his own life. That's just crazy, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I also, like, I don't know. This is going to be kind of a cold take, and I'm not really I completely agree with everything you said, and I love what Paddy did with this platform. However, I like the premise that, like, Nobody's talking about mental health or like men can't like. I just don't understand. Like, maybe I'm out here on the West Coast.
You're on the West Coast, bro.
I watch a lot of podcasts that have better help like ads in them. Like, I don't understand. Like, where is this coming from? Like, even I remember in like the early 2000s, being like, "Oh, do you want to talk to the counselor?" Like at my shitty Oklahoma public school. Like,
well, think about this. These are all United States interactions we speak of. He clearly lives in a much different society where maybe it's not like that in England.
Maybe it's not, but I also feel like that gets said about like. You're right. Maybe it's a cultural thing, but I don't know. Like, and obviously there's work to go, and maybe some men feel that way. But, and I guess I'll use our platform. Like, if you are feeling that way, like it's so far from the truth. There's a million options. There's better help, and we don't even get kickback.
Yeah,
on that.
don't make split-second decisions. They always end bad.
And also like this is coming from a perspective. Like I've been depressed, but I've never been suicidal. Like and maybe it's a personality trait. Like I'm more likely to go like rob a bank and go suicide by cops and like actually kill myself. But like, you know,
Me too.
Like certain people are built differently, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like you know, like, and I also think there's a lot of like I think what's super common, and I won't get on this high horse too much. Like, but like seriously. Myself in the head, but like I'm gonna smoke cigarettes or I'm gonna like I think even some people like ride motorcycles super recklessly or like or just do like hard drugs like heroin and fentanyl and shit. It's like you can't care that much if you live or die.
Escapism.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like
they're escaping their problems through substance.
Like I think there's a lot more of that, you know, going on. But as far as like the whole there's nobody to talk to, and you're judged if you say you have. I think we're a little past that. And like I said, maybe in parts of the world we're not. Maybe I'm privileged. Maybe I've been in the West Coast too long. Like, but I think the whole like, oh, men can't talk about their feelings thing. Like, I don't know how much I agree with it. It sucks if people out there feel that way. You know what I'm saying? And like, definitely like. Hit me up. You know what I mean? Like I'll
for real. Yeah.
Like, but I just. You know, like there's plenty of resources. I think the stigma's definitely died down. And yeah, if you need help, get it. You know, but also on the same coin, like I respect how Paddy used his platform for good, 100%. Especially when he's been accused of kind of being a clown or a fucking, you know, clout chaser,
yeah, or like a hype beast. You know what I mean? Just tries to ride the wave. Like he said, "Fuck the wave. I have something important that I care about."
And that's really admirable. It really is.
And you could tell how real it was when he was just bawling after his interview in the Octagon, realized, like, going through the full realization of, like, man, this guy's not around anymore. And, like, I don't know, it's tough. It's tough, right? And, like, I think takeaways from this fight are he gets a new Rolex from Drake because he cashed Drake's parlay of McCann Pimblett, which Drake bet $2 million and won $2.3 million. So it was damn near a plus 100 parlay, which is already crazy. And Molly McCann tweeted at him and was like, hey, if we win you this money, like, you're buying us Rolexes. And Drake was like, fuck yeah, I am.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's all cool. I love all of that. Now,
who's he fighting next? Paddy? Yes.
You know
Dan
what?
Hooker.
Hey, that would be dope. That's not where my brain went. I'm going kind of...
You want Ludwig Klein?
You know what?
Fun fight. Fun.
I'm going kind of chalk, kind of not... you know, no A+ for creativity there on my end, I know, but they both fall on the same card. Because the thing is, you can go ahead and name some ranked guy or some famous guy. It's not going to happen. It's a Sugar Sean type build. We all know it. So,
Paddy told him he's going to take a slow build because the UFC has built-in fight deals where, like, your first 3 fights, you only get paid X amount. And he's like, I'm worth so much. He is, yeah, because he did it. Because he did a 2-fight and then now signed a 4-fight. So he must be getting paid now.
Oh, you know he's getting paid bank. And much like Sugar Sean, once he got his new contract, he started taking the harder guys. So
talk about harder guys with Sugar Sean now. Jesus Christ.
Did you see Sugar Sean released that? Like, it was like a reel and a YouTube short. It was like, yeah, it's a huge step up for Peter Yan.
Yeah, it's so funny. Because the reporter goes, You think it's a big step up in competition? He goes, yeah, it's a big step up for Peter.
Everybody's been fucking saying it's a huge step up. I think he named the latest episode of his podcast "Huge Step Up." Sugar Sean's like troll marketing, the goat. I mean, maybe since Chael, like, and I don't know if Chael was like as trolly, like as funny. You know what I mean? He was more like playing a character. You know what I mean? But like Sugar Sean, as far as like being funny, I don't know. And it's not cringe.
I think in 18 months we could very much see McGregor and Pimblett. I think if McGregor can get a win, which that's already going to be impossible.
If McGregor gets a loss. Because I think if McGregor gets another loss, the UFC gets to like a sobering point where they're like, all right, we got to like pass this rub. Kind of like they're doing Diaz and Hamzat. This is where I disagree. I think McGregor gets a win in his next fight. He may get a title shot.
Against Chandler? Oh, yes. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, because his next fight is going to be Chandler, apparently.
But I'm talking about for McGregor to get the Paddy matchup, I think he would have to lose.
Yeah, you're right.
And then at that point, they're just trying to wring the towel for all it's worth and maybe pass some shine on to Paddy. You know what I'm saying?
But here's my logic is let's say McGregor wins, then fights for title, loses. I don't think he's ever winning a title again. But by that point, Paddy might have racked up the wins to catch McGregor back on the way down from the title shot.
Maybe. I also think if McGregor gets another title shot and loses, he probably retires or goes boxes or, I don't see – that's what I'm saying. McGregor has no reason to be just the guy, right?
Also, is McGregor even going to be able to make 55? I don't think so.
I bet my left nut that whoever he fights next in his comeback fights at 70. I
think him and Aspinall, easy fight to sell. Doesn't necessarily matter. And
all the fun, in the world.
Super
but
fun
nobody
fight.
Talks about it. It's like the only fight that's not talked. It was talked about for a while, like a year ago, but nobody talks about it. I'm in lockstep with you, bro. I think
because the names are big enough.
Because what's he gonna do? Fight Chandler, but at 70, so it means nothing. Like what? I don't like that idea. I don't hate the Diaz idea, but Diaz's last fight, that's gone.
Oh, he's done. Yeah, he's done. Diaz will never sign with the UFC again.
That ship sailed. So, the Masvidal, they're both on loss streaks.
You think that's the best matchup right now for him?
100%. I think it's obvious, but I think is it like too obvious? I don't know.
No, I'm glad you say it, but yeah, we can keep it pushing because this next fight, not very much fun,
bro.
In my opinion.
Well, I bet Curtis.
Not a terrible bet, except the fact that the way Jack Hermanson fought was dog shit, and Chris Curtis was an idiot for not having more fight IQ about the way he fought.
See, I saw it the other way, man. I thought Jack Hermanson's fight IQ was through the roof.
No, that's what I'm saying.
On the outside.
Yeah, but it was the most boring dog shit performance.
See, bro, and I'll even push back on that, bro. Like that's the narrative being told. I thought Hermanson did plenty of damage. Not in the first round. The first round was snoozy. But in the second, third round, I had the second. No, I'm out here on a limb. Ski. I don't. Nobody's agreeing with this take.
I thought the whole fight was snoozy. I thought that Chris Curtis won the third round by literally just fighting in the center of the octagon and Hermanson getting off of his dog shit bike. Two judges agree with me.
I'm offended.
I thought the third round was Curtis.
Bro. So all right. I'll raise you a hot take. I thought round 2 was a 10-8 Hermanson.
I don't disagree with that either.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm fine with that.
But no judge agreed with me, right? No judge gave that.
Right, but I had 29-28 soft. I could see a 29-27. I can even see the 30-27. To be quite honest, I can see a 30-26.
I did,
but I just think the way this fight works for Chris Curtis to get the number 8 fighter and the number 8 fighter to essentially just outpoint him when it's Hermanson. Hermanson goes for it. And he wouldn't with Curtis.
This is what blew my mind. And I alluded it a little bit on the prelim episode where I was talking about my bets. I think I had Curtis on 2 parlays. And the thing is, if you would have told me Hermanson out-wrestled Curtis, I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd be like, yep, that was it. The fact that Hermanson out-kickboxed Curtis was I mean, if you predicted that, I think I'm gonna call bullshit. Nobody in God's green earth predicted that Hermanson would Adesanya Chris Curtis.
Oh, bro, you said it perfectly. Hermanson has taken on the boring Adesanya fight style, and he says, "We'll be boring. I'll just outpoint you." I hate that shit, but if you get wins, you get wins. I mean, he went to split with Strickland
but
this year.
Hear me out, dude. Hear me out. Round 1 was snoozy. Round 2, I don't see how it was snoozy, bro. I mean, Hermanson landed that sick head kick. He had some sick elbows. The fight, in my opinion, could have potentially been stopped due to unanswered elbows. How is that snoozy? All right, and then you get into round 3.
Round 3 was just like, it wasn't snoozy, but it was kind of shitty, right?
Those jabs were fucking connecting stiff. Like, I don't understand how, like, especially as a guy who just lost to Sean Strickland, how do you like Sean Strickland and then hate what Hermanson did in this fight? I agree he wasn't marching forward like Strickland, but keeping him on the edge of a jab, those body kicks were so heavy. I mean,
it's just a bad look. Like, visually, the two, like, fans, to Dana, to all those guys, it was a bad look.
Not me. And I'm not even trying to be on a high horse. It's just like, bro, I place all of the blame on Curtis, bro. And actually, I don't know if you saw you need to check out Beefy Boys Twitter. It's been kind of popping. But
I'm watching round 2's highlights right now, where he almost finishes him with the elbows down the middle after the sick head kick and the big uppercut. And Chris Curtis was hurt and he was shelling. And I'm literally watching it right now. But I think to that point, yeah, I could see 10-8. But why would Hermanson not continue to do that in round 3, and why wouldn't he do it in round 1?
Because he had the fight won, and Chris Curtis wasn't doing anything on his own right.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Chris Curtis lost this fight. Like, it wasn't like, I'm not saying Hermanson won the fight, but I'm saying Chris Curtis lost it. And that's my takeaway.
Bro, Chris Curtis put out a tweet after this fight. It was like, Hermanson was, for lack of better words, it was not a quote, but like, Hermanson was running. And then I screenshotted the ESPN stat thing, and then I said, "What? WUT with the little monocle emoji." Like,
what?
And
what?
That shit has like 100 likes on that shit. Like, was the top comment underneath Chris Curtis's from the Beefy Boys account, and like, yeah,
it was just like, man.
Bro,
it was just
Hermanson
shitty.
Did not run. Bro, I'm pushing back. Hermanson looked fucking phenomenal.
I wouldn't say phenomenal. I'd say boring.
30-26. You said you saw the 30-26, but you don't.
But I can also
phenomenal.
see 29-28.
I see. I can't at all. Like, I can't even rationally conceive that. Like, I can't even lawyer ball it.
In round 3, Hermanson, his volume dropped immensely, and Curtis's was close. In round 3 only,
he whiffed a lot. Like,
the volume.
The volume of whiffs?
I'm just saying, I don't think Hermanson did any damage in round 3. Because he knew he had the fight when he wasn't pressing.
Bro, fuck that. That jab, Hermanson's jabs in round 3 caused more damage than Curtis caused in the whole fight. And I'll stand on that. Hermanson's jabs were stiff, and Curtis was walking into him.
Maybe I need to rewatch the fight. Maybe I was a little drunk by the time I got to this fight.
Maybe.
And honestly, I think I was just pissed because the action I had been given in this card and the lack of activity that I saw from Chris Curtis was like saddening. And then the fact that Hermanson only went for it in round 2. Well, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is like, to see how he did round 2 and for him to not come out and repeat it in round 3, I was like, man, fucking Adesanya style ass bullshit. Number 1 bullshit guy.
Well, and also Chris Curtis, hey bro, throw a fucking kick.
Yeah, dude, he didn't throw one. And he got 27 landed.
Third round, I think he landed a couple, but it's like it was too little, too late. Like literally, Chris Curtis, he just tried to box. He didn't shoot a takedown.
He threw one leg kick and missed it.
Jesus. So he literally boxed, right? Like he boxed.
Only.
He didn't shoot a takedown. He didn't throw kicks. He
literally threw half the strikes as Hermanson and landed half as many.
Yeah, man. I mean, Chris Curtis looked like shit, man. And I said, I
mean, I think you've actually won me over here. I think I'm way more empty on Curtis now. I was pretty empty on Hermanson. After we're going through it, I'm just low on Hermanson's style now. Because he used to be such a fun guy to watch. He used to just go for it always.
Well, also, hear me out. So Hermanson's rediscovered, like, kickboxing. Like, think about it.
It's a good point.
Hermansson's thought of as one of the best wrestlers in the division. That
Yeah.
can out kickbox a guy. Like I don't know, man. Like I think that's a pretty dope skill set. I know I'm kind of thinking of it in an abstract way. We can keep it pushing to the main event, as much of a main event as there is to keep it pushing
fuck
to.
this main event. God
Two
damn
weeks
it.
in a row, bro. 2 weeks in a row. We're cursed.
It won't happen this next week. UFC 277, guarantee. Let's fly through this and start talking 277. We'll talk this fight, Fallout, and let's get there. We have Aspinall minus.
Bro, I'm sorry. I'm bailing on you. Fucking talking this bullshit. I'm gonna go piss. Like it is what it
Fair.
is.
I mean, it's your piss will take longer than this whole fight.
My piss is about
to
be more meaningful and impactful than what took place.
Oh, your piss is gonna have more heat than this fight. I'll tell you that. So it's number 6, Tom Aspinall, minus 140, the biggest rising star of England in the upper weight classes currently, fighting Curtis Blades, best wrestler in the heavyweight division by far, not a question. Best wrestler since DC, and might have a better active takedown percentage. Plus 100. You give me plus money on Blades, very hard to turn down. I'm super high on Aspinall. I wanted the minus 140. All that being said, they come out. I mean, Blades throws 10 strikes. Aspinall throws 5. Blades lands 4. Aspinall lands 3. 2 of his 5 that he threw were leg kicks. On the second leg kick, pops his ACL, MCL, PCL, tears something in his knee, immediately falls down. Curtis Blades gets the KO victory, TKO victory, whatever you want to call it. It just sucks. It's just a shitty fight. Blades didn't want it to go that way. He said that in the post-fight interview. He was like, I know Aspinall's legit. I was ready to show that I'm still the number one guy in this division for a title shot. Blah, 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 blah. I think the honest answer here is that Aspinall's going to be out for a year, so just ignore the name. Shout out to Hollerhead. And Blades, he's number 4. Just got to win over 6. However you want to call it a win. Still a win. Can't take it away from him.
Hey, and Blades was looking good with the hands.
He was. And that's what I was saying. Is he out threw Aspinall in strikes.
Bro, he was countering Aspinall something fierce to the point. I don't know if Aspinall could have.
That's why Aspinall started throwing leg kicks. I think to try and measure the distance to get that found because it wasn't going well for him to start.
I agree.
I think the obvious thing here is
this is more of a fluke than Rodriguez or Ortega. It's kind of all being lumped together, and I know I started this little segment off saying 2 weeks in a row, but this was more fluky.
This was Aspinall throwing an offensive move and literally just throwing a leg kick and landing on the thigh, and his leg just pops. It was just fluky as shit. 15 seconds.
It was essentially a non-contact injury. It was like a receiver makes a cut on turf and tears his ACL. That's what what I mean.
What I will contest, though, is that you already have Tuivasa gone booked for the interim title. Jones is supposed to fight Stipe. I think Blades either gets the winner of either of those fights.
Yeah, and
whoever you want to give him, I don't give a shit because I think that's fun all 4 ways.
Yeah, and Blades has always been that way as a matchup in the heavyweight division, right?
He's a problem.
Can't go wrong because he's unique. He's unique.
Well, when I introed it, I was saying that he is the best wrestler in heavyweight since Daniel Cormier and might have better statistical wrestling in heavyweight.
When also, this heavyweight, wrestling matters less than any other division, right? Because if you think about the best wrestler so the best wrestler in light heavyweight, Ankalaev, essentially number 1 contender. The best wrestler in middleweight, that's kind of an argument that Izzy's kind of been able to neutralize it, so whatever, we'll skip middleweight. Welterweight, best wrestler, Usman, obviously. Followed by Hamza, and I mean, there's the full
Gilbert Burns, Sean Brady.
So many wrestlers and grapplers. The best wrestler in lightweight is
Makhachev, by far. Charlie
So-
Olive's also an incredibly gifted grappler.
So it's but in heavyweight, it matters less, right?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, because you look at Aljo, you look at Moreno, or Figueiredo, very good jiu-jitsu, but Volkanovski, extremely great wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the pound-for-pound list, it's a lot of wrestlers.
But in heavyweight, it just doesn't seem to translate, right?
Yeah, it's really wild to me. And I think it's a power thing, right? You one shot can put anyone to sleep. So the wrestling approach is so dangerous. You got to be so careful. And double legs and lifting guys heavyweight, impossible because they're so heavy.
Good point.
So you kind of got to go single leg entries always, which is tough, but you got to be careful of the damage you'll take.
And also a difference between this fight and the Ortega-Rodriguez fight. This fight lasted 15 seconds. Like, it literally didn't, like, start.
And for as good as we can say Blades looked, it's 15 seconds. You can't look that good in 15 seconds.
I wouldn't have hated a no contest here because of the.
That's what I thought too, and it wasn't like Blades dropped him with a punch. Didn't even punch him down.
And it wasn't like Ortega Rodriguez where the arm that was in the sub got hurt. Like I wouldn't have hated a no contest here. Granted, the rules are the rules. Whatever, you know, Aspinall essentially verbally tapped if you want to look at it that way. But you're right. I think we've said about all there is to say because the fight lasted 15 seconds. Like, what do you want us to say? It was kind of fluky. What can you do? I don't know.
More so, it's a Blades gets the winner of Tuivasa Gone or Miocic Jones, whichever comes first. Because Miocic Jones has been teased in front of us for fucking a year, so I don't even know if that's ever going to happen.
But that's what I'm saying. So, like, all right, hear me out. What if there's a scenario where that's like not going to happen? And I don't know if that's on the Stipe side or the Jones side, but like. Whatever side is like kind of bullshitting for lack of better terms gets replaced by Blades. Now, that's a way less big fight, and the UFC does not want to do that from a business perspective. But from like a competitive architecture perspective, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like what else do you do?
Dude, do you know who Blades' debut fight in the UFC was?
No.
Ngannou.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
No, Blades fought the Murderer's Row.
Well, he's lost to Ngannou twice, though. I didn't realize that. That's really tough to tell me that you think that I think he should get a third shot.
But the shot, what if the shot's not against Ngannou? Like,
oh no, I know. Yeah, it can't be right now. So I'm saying, it still makes sense and works, but it's just like,
I'll be real. Hey, Blades, say it's Blades versus Gone. Gone's gonna be the favorite. I love me some Blades plus.
I love some Blades in that because I don't know. And I don't know how outside kickboxing works against the best wrestler in heavyweight history.
Gone got out wrestled by Francis, who's never put on a singlet a day in his life.
It's a great point. But and all that being said, Tuivasa might be the most dangerous fight he can get.
I was about to say, I think Tuivasa knocks out Blades. Because when he comes in to shoot, drop a bow, drop a knee.
But here's what's fucked up, man. Is Blades is on a 3-fight win streak, hasn't lost since the Derek Lewis KO, which was wild. Shout out to you betting that.
Right, so he's got Volkov. Who's the other wins? Both. I didn't.
So since 2020, I'll give you his last 6 fights. Beat JDS by KO, decision Volkov. I
forgot about that. That was a weird one. I forgot. I thought like JDS retired already.
Then lost to Lewis by KO. Then decisioned Rosenstruik in just like a dominant decision.
Yeah, Rosenstruik. Yeah.
Then KO'd Dawkins the start of round 2, Chris Dawkins, and now technically KO's Aspinall. That's what I'm saying. It's tough to just elevate him like that right now. So he needs to be.
The Rosenstruik and the Dawkins wins just don't do much for me because
don't
all the
sell
guys
me.
above Blades destroy those guys too, right?
But he's never fought any of the guys above, counting John Jones, with the exception of Ngannou. He's never fought the top 5 guys above him currently.
See, I think Jones is a tough matchup for Blades because
so is Stipe.
You're right.
Stipe is incredibly tough.
I think there's a scenario where Blades is able to like outmuscle Stipe.
No, I disagree. Okay. If Stipe could beat DC twice, Blades is looking at a fucking tough matchup.
So much bigger than DC.
Yeah, but if he, DC could lift guys like Blades never could. DC's wrestling is better.
You'd have to chop off a Blades' leg for him to make 205.
Yeah, but I also don't know if he fought an old DC at that. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as Stipe, Stipe's old himself.
Essentially, like he started late. Like,
but
it's a weird argument.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's super weird. But also, like the inside boxing from Stipe is going to be a real big problem for Blades too, because Stipe's boxing is nice, and I think Jones is the worst matchup for him by far.
Well, we got robbed of. Oh, dude, I just got an Isaac Okoro rookie card delivered. Nice. Basketball. Let's go. But anyway, what we got robbed of is because you're right. The Blades argument is kind of played and kind of like, it's not going to sell, blah, blah, blah. What we got robbed of is if Aspinall was to win this, then we're salivating. We're having fun. We're making matchups.
Or even if Blades puts on a great performance and gets to show off his growth as a martial artist.
Steals the shine, right?
Like, he got robbed of being able to steal the shine, and Aspinall got his train literally stopped on the tracks, but it didn't go backwards. It just stopped right where it's at. It's like parked in station waiting to go to the final destination.
I think it goes backwards, bro. Like, I mean, we're athletes. Like, if you mean to tell me you tear your ACL, you don't go backwards. Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean, but then you look at OBJ, had no ACLs last year apparently, and had 11 catches for 130 in the Super Bowl. So, like, I
had one good game out of 17. I feel you. And then
he got traded like 14 games into the season.
I can't stand OBJ. I'm wrong. You're talking to the wrong guy here. But like I said, unless your name's Adrian Peterson, an ACL tear is a step back, which it hasn't been announced that it's an ACL tear, but.
Well, is it a step back for Ngannou, even though he won?
So much. So,
different fighters, though, right? Because Ngannou doesn't necessarily need that same. He didn't need it to beat Gone. So,
you mean to tell me, like, I don't know. Bro.
I think he finishes Ngannou with a healthy leg. That's what I'm saying.
Was the knee torn going into that fight?
Yeah. Yes, okay. That's why he wore the knee brace.
See, that's some Josh Emmett shit. I love me some Ngannou, though. Like, I think Ngannou's the real champ. Like, I think that's another reason why. Like, even against Jones, that's what makes this heavyweight conversation hard. Because I'm an Ngannou guy, and I don't know if any of these guys can beat Ngannou. And if they do beat Ngannou, it's because it's his first fight back off the surgery. And I think
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The train didn't go backwards. It just stuck at the station.
You're right, but I don't think the same can be said for Aspinall.
But he's not going to drop in rank from this. They're going to hold him at 6.
For how long? I mean, for 3 months, 4 months? I mean, they're not holding him there for 9 months.
Well, the guy right behind him was Volkov, and he beat the fuck out of Volkov.
Yeah, but that's a bad comparison. What's like the nearest young guy to Aspinall?
You're saying in the rankings?
Yeah.
Dawkins, maybe?
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Tuivasa, but that's not going to happen.
All right, hear me out.
If Pavlovich beats Lewis, that's where we go.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say that. I was like, Pavlovich fights next week against Lewis.
Yeah, that's
which nobody's talking about, which proves
Pavlovich is winning that fight. Pavlovich winning that fight.
I'll bet it.
I've been
on the fence. I
want the Lewis under, but Pavlovich winning that fight, bro. He's so much more well-rounded fighter, and he's a huge dude. Yeah, I'm riding. I decided after a little bit of research I put in last week that I love Pavlovich.
I've been on the fence. I
think Derek Lewis is on the fence about fighting anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's my biggest take is he has a young, hungry bull, and he's kind of out the fight game. He says after every fight, these last 3 fights, I don't even do this shit for fun. I do this for just for money. Well, bro, you're done. Man. You're done.
Fair point. Win over Lewis, 100% jumps Aspinall. Like, you'd be dumb not to.
Yeah.
Those boys can figure that out later down the road if that's what, happens. But you got a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, in Aspinall, if he's going to take 9 to 12 months to recover, which is typical of a torn collateral ligament like that, he's going to have to, fight his way back in. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but I also don't think you can drop him outside the top 10 for just tearing his ACL.
No. But, I mean, he's at 6 now. I mean, that's 4 spots.
6 through 10, kind of interchangeable, though, typically, with who you can fight. And the UFC just showed us that they'll fight 13 versus 1 because it's fuck 'em Wednesday.
All right. So, I think we've covered this card about as thoroughly as we could.
Great transition, because Lewis and Pavlovich fight this week. Let's go into it.
Let's go into it, bro.
Let's get these odds.
Let's please do. And hey,
all right, honestly, next week.
I want to try something new. Like, if you get a chance, I know because you think you
the scumbagging is just top-notch right now.
Let's go.
All right, perfect. So, we'll start from the back and work our way up to the finale, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and this is the Road to Revenge is the name of this. The number 2 Revenge, because we have 2 rematches here for belts. So, starts the card off, main card with Drew Dober and Rafael Alves.
I like Dober.
Dober minus, what do you want, DraftKings, Caesars, or FanDuel?
Caesars is going to be more relevant to the bet I actually place, but I understand the UFC uses DraftKings. Let's go Caesars, though.
Okay, perfect. I mean, they're close enough right now. So minus 210 for Dober, plus 175 for Alves. Or Alvish.
See,
I like Dober.
I like Dober. Dober's fought killers. He's a stud. I'm not that high on Alves.
He just saw the rankings
recently.
recently.
The card and I kind of made a face. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not the biggest Alves guy. Like, what can I say? I'm not the biggest Dober guy either. But Dober, he's a stud. He's an athlete. He's fought killers. Give me Dober.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd said the wrong fight as well. They're the main event on the prelims. The actual kickoff to the card, which I'm with you. We'll go Dober. Actual kickoff to the card, Alexandre Pantoja, Alex Perez. That's 4 versus 6 in the small weight division.
You go first. I'm fucking small weight. That's hilarious. But, hey, bro, I'm fucking stumped on this one. Like, I don't have an opinion. And I'm going to do research, and I'll have an opinion by the time it's the sports book. But, knee jerk, I'm sorry. I know this is a cop-out. I don't have an answer. Like, I really don't.
Okay, so Pantoja 32, Perez 30 years old. So take that out. You go reach. They're literally 2 inches apart in reach, even though Perez is a taller guy. So he's going to have longer legs. So the reach is essentially going to be the same here. If you go fight records, Perez's last loss was 2020 to Figueiredo by sub in a fight for the belt. And before that, he fought twice that year against Espinoza and Formiga, won both those. Now, if you go on to Pantoja's past few fights, he beat Royval by sub, beat Manel Kopp by unanimous decision, beat Schnell by KO, lost to Askar Askarov, lost to Davison Figueiredo.
Hey, bro. All right, I'll be real. Call me a casual. Give me Pantoja.
Me too.
What I need to hear.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
You have the same conclusion.
Yeah, I just wanted to read through the facts.
No, thank you, bro. Thank you.
So minus 170 for Pantoja, plus 145 for Perez. Beautiful parlay builder. Parlay builder.
Yeah, that's good value on a parlay for sure.
Absolutely.
Tough fight. I mean,
tough. It's going to be a good fight. I think that's a guaranteed good fight. Pantoja's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner.
You're right, because
Perez is a great wrestler.
Pantoja's on that level where he could still be somebody in the division. I think Perez, call me a hater, is what he is for the division. Like top 5 guy, top 10 guy, but I
also think he's a limited skill set compared to Pantoja.
You know what? All right, we're riding Pantoja.
So, and their records are 24-5 for Pantoja and 24-6 for Perez. So this is a wonderful matchup. Good. Close. Shouts out to the UFC.
Yeah, great matchup.
Now, next fight, Ankalaev Smith. Ankalaev minus 500. Smith plus 380. I don't need to read shit about this. We all know this is Ankalaev, right? Like, as far as the Beefy Boys are concerned, I wouldn't take it at the value it's on.
Yeah, that's what sucks about this one. The value's horrible.
I might like decision, though. I might like this going to a decision because Smith's so goddamn tough. Yes. Yeah. Because Ankalaev's style
is going to be grindy.
Yeah.
Can you see the over-under prop, or am I just scumbaging too hard for a fucking preview?
No, I got it. I got it right here. So, over 2.5 rounds, minus 145. Not terrible for the parlay as well. And that's a Caesar. Caesar's the only one offering that.
Terrible. That's fucking beautiful. That gave me a little chubsky, bro. Bro, think about the value compared to the money line. That's what you got to juxtapose. You got to juxtapose the over-under. Because, sometimes it's about the same, and it's you don't really gain anything for going out on a limb. Honestly, that, me taking the fucking, the Craig under, I didn't really get that much of value from going under. You know what I'm saying? The over-unders are great when the money line doesn't present value. And, you juxtapose the two. I think if you bet the money line, you're kind of a clown. And I think the over might be the play. Now you're getting that value because Ankalaev, you think a minus 500 favorite's going to get the finish, but as we saw in the Makayev fight, and Anthony Smith is no slouch and has a crazy chin and great jiu-jitsu, I think the over is. I kind of love it.
Well, and check this out. Vegas thinks the decision too because they have it going. Ankalaev wins the decision plus 125. And they have Ankalaev wins by KO TKO plus 160.
Bro, I'll be real. I may need you to break out the VPN for that value because, bro, you can't. Yeah. We tried in Reno. We're in Nevada, the best sports betting state, and you can't find those fucking props. God damn it. Because if we could get those props, I'd fucking bankrupt these casinos, cocksuckers.
Cocksuckers. There's a reason they don't give them, though. You know what I mean?
Ankalaev plus, you get plus money on the decision when we think it's going to be a decision and we think Ankalaev's going to win. Fuck me.
versus minus 500. You know what I'm saying?
That fucking NordVPN, bro. Fucking...
You're not lying. So we love that fight. As far as the featured bout before the two title fights, now we're on to Derek Lewis, Sergey Pavlovich. Pavlovich minus 125, Lewis plus 105.
Pavlovich, we've already covered it.
I am
think
too.
I have an over-under opinion.
Over 1.5 is what they're offering right now, plus 120. I like that over a lot.
I like the two-legger.
Yeah, the combo?
The two-legger.
Well, and honestly, it's minus 125 plus 120, so you're going to get exactly even odds plus your multiplier. So you're looking at three. You're looking at 3 to 1 on that parlay for just a 2-pick.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
I like it. And also, my phone is dying. I'm sorry. So, that's the reason why I had a little sense of urgency there.
Did you get the 10% warning?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
All right, we're good. It's only 2 fights. We'll make it. We'll make it.
We got it.
So we both like Pavlovich. Do you want me to even go into their fights real fast, or are we just going to ride with that?
No. We'll do that in text messages.
Because Pavlovich has 4 finished wins in his last 5 fights. None of them made it outside the first round. So that might be important.
Oh, Jesus, that's tough.
Yeah, that made it a lot harder.
All right. Good info. Keep it.
All right. Now we got the interim title fight. We got Moreno minus 210, Kai Car France plus 175. What did you think about the first one?
I was shocked. So here's what it's going to come down to, bro, especially in a 5-round fight. So in round 1, Car France was landing bombs. Moreno has a chin. He ate the bombs, and then he kind of outlasted him. And also, Moreno was landing head kicks, and Car France was mainly just boxing.
I think Car France has gotten a lot better since then, and I think Moreno has gotten pretty much where he is. I don't know that he's progressed as much. Yeah,
right? No,
I love the plus money on Car France.
Me too, because bro, rewatch this fight when we end this. Rewatch it. It's on YouTube right now for free. It's being promoted, obviously. That's how I watched it. But what I'm saying is, bro, watch round 1. Car France lands bombs, like the same bomb that dropped Garbrandt, right? That's Car France knocked out Garbrandt, right?
And Moreno's been through wars since then, and Car France has not found himself in a war since then.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, when you watch how close, like, it was weird because the damage got scored for Moreno in the first fight, but it was like a weird, like, Shane Burgos thing where, like, they were eating the same shots. Essentially, you could argue that Car France was landing bigger shots, but Moreno just wasn't showing the damage. Like, we always have the debate every year on Chin of the Year. It's like, is Chin of the Year, like, not showing damage at all, or is it showing damage and overcoming it? Or, like, how do you interpret Chin? Like, that's what was so weird. If you rewatch this fight, which I strongly encourage you to do, it's like Car France landed multiple fight-ending shots. It was just Moreno had a chin. And then Moreno was landing, in my opinion, lesser shots, but it was doing, like, more damage to Car France's, like, face. It was a weird one.
I would also argue that Car France's camp has been on fire since their fight, and, like, everyone in their gym is progressing at a really good rate.
Car France is progressing. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like everyone in their gym, like he's coming up with the level of their gym. So give me Car France plus 175. Love it there. That should be more of a pick. I'm totally in lockstep with you. Final fight of the night. The rematch for the belt. Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes. You got Nunes minus 300. You got Pena plus 240. Give me the plus money all day.
Give me the plus money.
The matchup for Nunes is a fucking nightmare here. And Juliana Pena's been saying it for 2 years until she finally got the fight and then showed my chin's bigger than your damage, and I'm just going to outwear you.
It's more philosophical, more mental. I'm going, like, bro, it's the
Nunes has moved on. She's done.
She's in a different point of her life, right?
Yep.
Bro, she's a mom. She's a multimillionaire. It's the classic example of, like, you know what they all say about, like, a fighter sleeping on silk sheets? You know what I'm saying? Like, Penny's still hungry. Pena's not done. Pena is, like, in the middle of her prime in her mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think – Pena. Nunes, actually, it's not Nunez. It's Nunes. Nunes is –
she quit in the last fight, too. She got broken.
She got broken, and like I said, it's just like almost like a Conor McGregor thing. I'm not saying on a wealth level, but also your money goes a lot further in Brazil. She's married, which I'll speak from my perspective. Being married softened me. And I know it doesn't soften every fighter, but
now she has kids too.
Kids. That's what I'm saying. I think she's at a different point in her life. Like, I think fighting is like not the top priority. I don't know how good a shape she's in. I don't know, which means the weight cut's going to be harder. It is a 35, not 45. I think Pena makes 35 easier. I love me the Pena. Bro, actually, I know a guy. A good shout out Steve Strong if you're watching this. He messaged me. He's a homie of mine. He was a musician in my uncle's band. Now he lives in Michigan. Somehow this guy fucking won tickets to the fucking card. This fucking guy. I'm fucking
It's in
so
fucking
jealous.
like Dallas or some shit.
No, it's in Vegas.
No, this one's in Dallas. American Airlines, Dallas.
Oh, it is. Oh, my
Yeah.
bad, my bad. I thought it was.
But that's also good for Pena. She trains in the USA. Nunes does not typically. She flies back in to train in the USA.
Yeah, I don't know the east and west of that though. It could maybe line up.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, the time difference
zone,
won't be a lot, but Brazil is going to be a lot more humid, a lot more elevation. Like there's going to be a lot of differences in climate that I think affect Nunes when she comes over. Now I know that's all here and there. I honestly think this all comes down to the mental of Pena has all the skills to beat her and is mentally tougher, and I think still might be hungrier even with the belt.
Bro, it's really weird to like say, hey, place your bet on like a weird thing like hunger. I think that's what it comes down to. But
the skill set matchup is crazy too. She has a higher takedown accuracy. She has the same takedown average. She throws more subs. She has a higher striking accuracy. She throws slightly less strikes per minute, but at a higher clip or higher accuracy clip. She's 2 inches shorter, but same reach. So, like, as far as measurables go, she matches up perfectly, and then the mental is just the winner.
I think next week, bro, honestly, I think I'm going to break the mold. I've never tried it. I think I want to try it. I think I'm going to place a bunch of small single bets.
Well, because it's a lot of dogs. You can make easy money on straight tickets here.
Dog, the Pena dog. Even Pavlovich, fuck it. Like I don't know.
I think it's one of those where you place them straight and then you just place them like 2 separate parlays with most confident 3, least confident 3, and then run with that. That's really how I see it.
Hey man, I'm looking forward to the sports book next week. Hey Baldinis, we're coming for you. We're coming for you.
Coming for you. You betcha we're coming for you.
Oh, you know it, bro. Hey man, episode 297. Shout out Howlerhead. Fucking love doing this with you, bro. Like, regardless of like whatever anybody thinks about podcasts, like whatever the numbers say, like I fucking love doing this with you, bro. And hey, once again, if you're watching this, win a Nate Diaz trading card or another card of your liking. To be honest, all you got to do, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Beefy Boys Breakdown. Leave a comment on any video with your social media and we'll get at you. And we'll get you your card. Win official UFC memorabilia right here with the Beefy Boys Breakdown. Shout out Howlerhead. Hey, man, any final comments?
Nah, we got episode 100 will be a fight night, but episode 101 is Usman Edwards too. So would love to do a great giveaway for that 101 episode.
Yes, sir, man. Looking forward to it. Also, like, I'm just not stuck to the Usman Edwards card. Like, I think Usman runs through Edwards so hard.
I'll sell you on it once we get there. Don't worry. I like Edwards. All right, Chris Curtis.
Yeah, Chris Curtis. Hey, man. Love you, brother. Have a good night.
Love you, brother. I'll see you next week.